I'm going to speak now to Nick Casey, the Wall Street Journal's Middle East correspondent. Good morning to you, Mr. Casey. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, good morning.
You posted a photo to Twitter of a Hamas spokesperson being interviewed on camera, and you wondered there on Twitter how patients might be feeling about Hamas using the hospital as a de facto headquarters for Hamas leaders who, quote, can be seen in the hallways and offices. How surprised were you as a reporter? I'm sure you've been to many different areas around the Middle East and seen it in your own eyes that Hamas is using civil infrastructure for their own needs.
Well, I just want to clarify here, these weren't Hamas leaders. These were spokespeople who are trying to do interviews with media right now. I haven't seen any Hamas leaders in civilian infrastructure at all so far, but I haven't been able to get to areas where there are Hamas leaders. I haven't seen any. This happened in previous wars in Cast-Led and also in 2012. There were spokespeople who were talking in the hospital. The fact is there are very few places that one can talk to the media in an open situation. I was yesterday in Al-Aqsa Hospital, which was a place that was attacked a couple of days ago by arms fire, by Israeli artillery fire. And this was an area that was near where Israel said that there was a weapons cache that Hamas was using, but the hospital itself was attacked. So there are now coming to be incidents where Israel is saying that it's trying to attack some piece of infrastructure that Hamas has been using that's close to some piece of civilian infrastructure, but it's the civilian infrastructure which is actually fallen under attack as well.
Yesterday, we also saw UNRWA, the UN agency working in the Gaza Strip, of course, releasing a statement of condemning the finding of more rockets in another school. How much of these instances have you actually seen in the Gaza Strip in the past 16 days? And was it unknown to other journalists, would you say? I know you haven't taken a poll or so forth, but in your perception of the other media there, how many people do understand maybe the severity of the issue?
Yeah, so what happened at UNRWA really surprised the people at UNRWA and the UN. This was an area that was being used as a shelter so far as UNRWA knows. There had been some cases of Hamas storing weapons in UNRWA schools, and that had really bothered the UN. At that point, though, UNRWA was very upset that they had basically come under attack in the school. The school, there was an Israeli attack which blew up part of the wall. They also said there was some shrapnel, but no one was hurt. You asked if people are aware that this is going on. Yeah, people are aware in Gaza this is going on. The attacks that are coming in from Israel are coming through all parts of Gaza right now. So there's not really any place where you don't see a bombardment of Gaza that's happening.
Right. One of the biggest questions here in the Israeli media that people are asking, and also within the Israeli public, is why aren't the Gaza civilians themselves saying enough is enough? They're seeing, of course, that their infrastructure is being used to house rockets and so forth. Why aren't they telling Hamas, this is not the way we want to live? Is it something perhaps that we in Israel don't understand and thus the Gaza civilians aren't able to speak to Hamas? Or is it something that they don't want to do? Can you try to clarify that for us?
Well, yeah, I think one thing that's really important to think about here is that Israel is a democracy. There's an election. When Israelis don't like the direction that the government is taking, the government can collapse, and immediately or soon thereafter you'll have new Knesset elections. That doesn't happen here. If Hamas is going to war with Israel, there's no way that Gazans are able to stop Hamas from doing that legally in a way that this could be done in Israel. So you're dealing with two very different systems of government. Even within Hamas, a lot of the decisions are being made by the military wing, which has a very complicated relationship with, needless to say, with the political wing. So that's what I'm saying is that it's not as simple of a thing for Gazans to put the brakes on what's happening in Gaza as it is in a typical democracy.
And when you have been speaking to Gaza residents, have they expressed to you as a objective journalist, this is how we feel, and they're just, as you said, they're not able to express that to Hamas?
I think there's a lot of mixed feelings. Some people want a ceasefire immediately and for the fighting to stop so it goes away. Others are saying that they want the fighting to continue until there can be some sort of solution to the blockade of Gaza, which I think has become a massive problem for the Gaza Strip. I think that this blockade has created a sense of desperation here, and that is part of the reason why the civilians that do support Hamas are doing that, because they don't feel that there's any other option left for them other than to fight.
Nick Casey, the Middle East correspondent for the Wall Street Journal, thank you for joining us this morning. Wishing you, of course, a quiet morning there in the Gaza Strip. Thank you for joining us.